experienced in essentially redefining the way the Super Bowl is celebrated. And we're very proud to stand before you here today and believe that we have accomplished that goal. Super Bowl 50, no doubt, is a milestone celebration, one of the biggest and most far-reaching sporting events in the world. And so we focused on creating an experience that matches the significance of the moment. And when we say redefining the Super Bowl, we talk about it in a number of different ways. How can we be the most giving Super Bowl in history and give back to our market and our community? How can we be the most technologically advanced given the technology DNA that exists in the Bay Area and Silicon Valley? And I think we all saw that on display yesterday in a big time way. And how can we be the most participatory, the most open, the most inclusive Super Bowl ever, inviting as many people as we could to the marketplace? Part of that focus was bringing our region together. From the very beginning, we talked about this being not just about one city, but the entire region of the Bay Area, and working in partnership with the NFL. We're very proud of accomplishing that goal, bringing in the far reaches of our region, Santa Clara, San Jose, Oakland, and San Francisco, to work together to deliver a world-class event for our region. From transportation partners to safety and security to other agencies around the city and around the Bay, we've seen an excitement that's unprecedented and a swell of participation in the Bay Area unlike we've ever seen before. Simply said, we're extremely proud as a region to have hosted this Super Bowl and to see so many people come through. This week, Super Bowl City, combined with the NFL experience and the 50th mile, attracted over 1.1 million people flowing through that enterprise over the course of those 9 days. And that's a real legacy. And we couldn't have done that without the cooperation of so many people, our public officials, our police departments, our fire departments, and everybody working together to make that a very safe and secure place for fans to go. But they had a great time. That's the most important thing. Everything that's great about the Bay Area was on display at Super Bowl City, and everything that's great about the NFL and the 50th Super Bowl was on display at NFL Experience, and everyone came out to see all of that. I'd like to give particular thanks to the mayors of the region, Mayor Ed Lee, Mayor Jamie Matthews, Mayor Sam Liccardo, and Mayor Libby Schaff for working with us as a collective unit to make this a great event for our region. We talked about redefining the Super Bowl from the numbers, and we're going to have more numbers to share with you over the course of the week to establish that goal of what the most participatory meant and what the most giving meant, which Daniel will speak to in a second. But I also want to give a big thanks to the Bay Area companies who stepped up to support us, to make sure that this Super Bowl was one that would step up for the region. So many Bay Area companies headquartered here chose to sponsor the Super Bowl 50 host committee and support our efforts in partnership with the 49ers and the NFL to bring this milestone Super Bowl to the world stage. And we couldn't have done it without those companies supporting us along the way. I would also like to thank the Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner Goodell, Peter O'Reilly, the head of events from the NFL, and the entire NFL team. We had a seamless partnership from day one. And it was something that was very important to me as the CEO of the host committee to make sure that we worked as a collective unit to deliver on what we knew were very high expectations from the NFL to deliver the 50th Super Bowl to the world. And so their partnership was so critical and so important to me and my team. And I'd like to thank the NFL again for all their work. At this point in time, it's time to launch a new era of Super Bowl as we hand over the football to Houston and Super Bowl LI 51. But before we do that, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce the man who chaired the bid for Super Bowl 50, who brought this Super Bowl to our region. He also hired me as CEO, so thank you for that too, Daniel. Thank you for giving me a job. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Lurie, the chairman of the Super Bowl 50 host committee.
I will try to keep it brief, but I wanted to also thank Peter O'Reilly. Peter, you and your team, it was an amazing experience working with you, and it was flawless yesterday, and so I congratulate you and your team on a great day yesterday and a great week. And Commissioner, it's been a great partnership the last 2.5 years. I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for everything. And I also want to just shout out to Keith. Keith put together a world-class team to pull off a world-class event in a world-class region. And I finally exhaled at about 9:30 last night with Keith, realizing that we had gotten everybody off to home safely, and that was something that we wanted to do. We did not want to stop at game day. We wanted to stop when people got home safely and securely. We did that, and Keith, you did good. I want to just quickly tell people that when we bid on this Super Bowl, when Jed called me and when Mayor Lee called me and asked if we could do this and if I would have the honor of doing it, we said we had to make this about more than just the game. We had to make this about our community. We put community first from day one. And so when we did our bid 2.5 years ago, we said 25% of all the corporate dollars would go back into our community. It turns out we raised over $13 million, all of that going back here to the Bay Area community. So that's the legacy of the 50 Fund and the Super Bowl 50 host committee that I am most proud of. I know that this region loves to debate things and loves to have their voices heard, and I love that about my hometown. And what I want everybody to know, having left this Bay Area, is that we were the most philanthropic Super Bowl ever, and that is something I hope that everybody here in the San Francisco Bay Area is incredibly proud of. I know we're going to talk in the weeks to come about economic activity and records being broken. All of that I also will be incredibly proud of. I want to thank everybody on the host committee team, many of whom are standing in the back. You guys did an incredible job. Thank you so very much. And I need to also thank Mayor Ed Lee for his leadership on this and bringing a collaborative spirit to this game from day one. We could not have done this alone in San Francisco. We couldn't have done it alone in Santa Clara or San Jose or Oakland. It took everyone pulling together. This game's kind of a big deal now, and it requires everybody working together. And the four major mayors of these cities did an incredible job. And finally, I will say that we don't get this game without Jed York and the Niners. We don't get it without an unbelievable stadium in Levi Stadium. I think we proved yesterday that that stadium is world class. And so I want to congratulate the man that made that happen, Jed York. Congratulations.
Well, even though I'll be redundant, I still have to thank a lot of the same people that have been named and mentioned. I want to first start with Daniel and Keith. They set the vision of an unbelievable week. There was so much work and so much planning that went into it. And the best thing to me, and I think Daniel hit on it, we're going to have a legacy of Super Bowl 50 that lives on in the Bay Area for many years to come, from $13 million going back to the community. And I think that sets a new trend for how the Super Bowl can be giving and make sure that we leave a legacy after the game takes place. We live in the greatest region in the world. Mayor Lee, Mayor Liccardo, Mayor Matthews, Mayor Schaaf, all came together and their communities came together. All the police departments, California Highway Patrol, I mean, the thousands and thousands of volunteers that I got to meet, some of them throughout the week, that literally grew up here and they're living different places. They flew home to work as volunteers this week. I mean, that says so much to me about how special this region is, and I want to thank all of those volunteers for doing everything that they could to make this an unbelievable time. I try to live a good life, but I definitely will spend a few more years in purgatory after the weather this week. I'll take it. That's all right. It's worth it. Some things are out of your control, but I'd rather be lucky than good. And the weather this week was fantastic. I think the entire region shined. Chip Berg and his team at Levi's, they've been a great partner to us, and I think Levi's Stadium shined. To me, I thought the national anthem was the greatest national anthem I've ever heard sung in my life. And Lady Gaga, thank you so much for just knocking it out of the park. wrong pun or wrong sport, but that's all right. That's all right. And I thought everything was great. And I want to congratulate both teams, Carolina for having an unbelievable season, and obviously the Denver Broncos for winning a championship, and just great play all throughout the game, all throughout the season. It was fantastic. But for me personally, I'm kind of glad to end the 2015 season and officially move on to 2016. And I'm going to turn it over to Roger Goodell, who's just done an amazing job of getting us ready and leading this charge, and looking forward to the next one. Thank you, Commissioner.